Hey everyone, and welcome back to the SEL. So today we're going to be taking a look at the new Lionel 2024 Volume 2 catalog. But before we get started, I want to talk about a future video that I have in the works. So let's take a look at that real quick. All right, guys. So as you all know, the base threes have arrived at Lionel, and they are being shipped out to either you guys already or to the dealers. So I wanted to go ahead and say that I will be doing a video on the base 3 when I get mine. I'll be doing a video on how I wire it, how I get it up and going, how I get it running with my phone using the app, and I might even have a Cab One Nail remote to use. So if y'all are interested on seeing how I get all mine installed, as well as maybe even a WTIU that I have on the way and how I get all that stuff wired and talking to each other, well, make sure y'all drop a like and subscribe, and let's get into the catalog. So we have our table of contents and things like that, and we're moving into O scale. So something I immediately noticed with this catalog, it's organized a little different than the normal catalog, and you'll see what I mean here in a second if you haven't had a chance to look at it yourself. So we have the Y6B here, and we have some interesting stuff up here in the top. But as we all kind of figured, with it being the anniversary of Lionel here next year, we thought the Vision Line model for the year was either going to be, as we see here, the GG1 or the 700E Hudson. I was kind of on the fence on which one I was thinking it was going to be. I mean, it really could have been either one, but I'm kind of interested to see how these GG1s come out. I don't know if I was kind of personally hoping it was 700E because it's a steam engine and I like steam engines just because I mean I've always been fascinated by steam. Not to say that the GG1 and diesels aren't. I mean, I know this is an electric engine, so diesels and electric aren't just as fascinating. But I was kind of, I don't know. I don't know if hoping against hope. I don't know. I don't know exactly what I was quite expecting, but we all kind of figured it would be one or the other. So let's take a look and see what they've offered here. So we have the congressional, and I'll let you guys pause it here and read the history with the sets that Lionel offers here. I mean, I think I'm going to kind of blitz through this catalog real quick. This will be a shorter video for you guys. But I like this paint scheme. It's an interesting paint scheme. And we have the Senator set here. I do like this paint scheme a little bit better than the Congressional set, just because that looks more classic Pensy to me. I mean, I'm not a Pensy guy, so one may be more Pensy than the other. But we'll keep moving on here. The Spirit of St. Louis set. We have Penn Central. This is kind of interesting. I do like the color scheme here with the red and yellow as opposed to the white and yellow. I think that pops just a little bit more in my opinion. But move on to the Amtrak. Now I do like how this in theory should look whenever it's on the tracks with all of the different colors and stuff like that. Now if I had to get one, this is one of the few that I'm leaning towards right now just because if I got this one in particular or if I got a GG1 and went for this era in particular, I wouldn't necessarily have to get all the cars for this because I could just get the 4-pack down here and maybe the 2-pack. I could then maybe, even though technically it wouldn't be the right era, I could throw in some of my 20th century stuff. Or as time goes on, I'm sure I'll get more passenger cars. There's no reason I couldn't throw those in too and call it still Amtrak. But I do like the potential that this set has. And I do like how this does have the War Bonds logo here. Now, this set should also be pretty interesting. We're moving more into the later years of the GG1, but I do like the paint schemes down here. I don't like the price tag, but that's because they're made from aluminum, so on and so forth. Just like the Hiawatha sets that were offered in the last catalog. Now, I feel bad for you guys who are going for this set because while this paint scheme looks amazing, and I'm sure it will look amazing in person, and all these cars will look great. And from what I can tell, the entire consist of the prototypical train is here, I believe, or at least most of it. I feel bad for you guys who are going to have to get this set in its entirety because that's a lot of cars and that's a lot of dollars. So if y'all get this set, I really would like to see what it looks like all together, even if you just get a couple of them. But this should be a really good set from this catalog. And we are starting to get to our boxed sets here. So we have the GG1 freight set with a hot box reefer, a Vision cab car, and a couple other pieces of rolling stock that'll be featured later on in the catalog, another standalone GG1, and more cabin cars. So now we're getting into one of the ones I'm more considering just because of the historical significance within Lionel as a company. I do like how they're bringing back the post-war inspired sets, and I do really like this Lionel observation car at the end. Even if I don't get this set or a GG1, I might just get this car to throw on the end of my passenger trains just to have. And I'm also kind of interested to see what the Station Sounds Diner sound set is for this diner car. Like, I wonder if it's a Lionel specific one or if it's just a generic one that maybe Amtrak serviced over the years, or if it's something completely custom that Lionel comes up with in house. Same for the baggage car over here. And we're getting close to the end here, I believe, with the GG ones. I do like the Lionel lines, continuing inspiration from the history of Lionel with the LCCA exclusive one. But let's move on. All right. We have some B60 baggage cars here. These are the standard B60s. This was something else I was considering, just picking up one of these standalone GG1s and doing a mail train. I'm not exactly sure if that's prototypical or not. I'm sure it is at some point that the GG1s pulled some sort of mail train, but I thought it'd be kind of cool just to help me save it just a little bit of money and still have something that could be considered prototypical. And now we have Vision baggage cars. So these are, from what I can tell, on the outside they're similar, but they have Vision sounds and all that stuff on the inside. So if you're looking to add something to your Pensy consist in terms of sound, this might be what you're looking for. All right, so now we're moving into the legacy diesels. So those of you who know me on a personal level and have already leafed through the catalog, you might have spotted something that I might not be able to live without, but we'll get to that when we get to that. And oh, look at that, we're already there. So we had the SD70s here, a continuation of the Norfolk Southern Heritage units that Lionel started offering last two catalogs ago. I already have the New York Central SD70, obviously to go with my 20th Century Limited set. And I have on order the Central Georgia unit, which should be arriving here in the near future. But I couldn't get that and not get the Savannah Atlanta unit because I live pretty close to Savannah, and being a Georgia person, I really couldn't say no to that. But we also have the Reading unit and the Penn Central unit as represented by the SD70 Aces. And on the next page, we have more SD70 Aces with the Wabash, Virginian, and Faramex. And all of these, well, not all of them, the Faramex does not have a non powered unit, but the other five do have non powered units as well. But moving over to the SD70Ms, we have non powered units as well for the Grand Trunk, Maine Northern, and Susquehanna. We also have sea liners. Interesting that Lionel doesn't have a similar render. I don't know. I mean, maybe this might be a MTH tooling. That might be why they don't have a tooling like or a render like this, because this might be a Lionel tooling as opposed to a MTH tooling. We have Canadian Pacific, another Canadian Pacific, Milwaukee Road, New York Central, and Pensy. And we also have some P8s. Now, I do like Santa Fe. Santa Fe will more often than not have a special place in my heart due to the train that my grandfather has built. But I do like this paint scheme. I like the Southern, that will always look sharp. We have the Erie, Southern Pacific, and New Haven up there at top. And we also have a nickel plate road set. This should be a pretty good looking set here. I think MTH did one, or maybe it was Lionel a couple years back. If y'all have seen Eric Siegel's video on it, that was a really good set too. But we'll move on to the next page here. We have some Halloween themed stuff, a Midnight Flyer set with a PA and a custom passenger set, as well as a J3A Hudson and some more Lionel or Halloween themed rolling stock. But getting into the more standard O stuff, we have SW1 in Amtrak, Cargill, the Rookie Sand. I'm sure I butchered the crap out of that. We have Manufacturers Junction, New York Central, Lehigh Valley, and Western Pacific. We have SD40-2s. We have Aberdeen, Carolina, and Western 69, 18, and 10. Canadian Pacific 7079 or 779, 777, and Chicago Northwestern 6922 and 6910, as well as some others in the Reading and Northern, Susquehanna, VMV, and Sioux. And moving on to Legacy Steam. So in this portion, normally is after Vision Line, or normally it's first. I'd be curious to know why Lionel did it this way. Maybe it was an accident, or maybe it was on purpose. Maybe they're switching it up. I don't know. I'd be interested to see or learn why Lionel has decided to switch it up a little bit in this catalog, but only time will tell, I guess. So we have the Y6Bs here. Interesting to see on the next couple of pages the fantasy schemes here. But I do like how, and Lionel said this in the past with the ET44s, that the 4 digital addressing is on all future models as far as Legacy is concerned from now on. So we have 4 Norfolk Western numbers here. We have 2174, 2194, 2188, and 2197. With safety valve steam, whistle steam, and as I just said, road specific or 4-digit addressing and road specific details. Now we have the Pennsy, Santa Fe, Union Pacific, and Great Northern. I think these fantasy paint schemes might sell pretty well. I don't know. I won't be getting any of these because I have other things in the catalog that I've already got my eyes on that I really can't afford to throw in one of these as much as I might like to throw one on, just because of how massive they are. And my buddy Zach over at Joker's Trains has 1 or 2 of these already, and I think he loves his a lot too. But like I just said, I've already got stuff on the catalog that I'm already got my eyes on, so I'm gonna have to pass on these. We have the mountain type locomotive here in Alaska, Santa Fe, Seaboard, NCSTL. I think that's the NCSTL, New Haven, Southern, Tennessee Central, and Texas Pacific. The Heavy Mikados. Now, I briefly considered these because that is a really good price, even at MSRP. So the pre-order discounts on this model should be really good, just like the Now we have Heavy Mikados here, and I really like that price. The pre-orders on this should be even better, just like the F19s in the last catalog. So we have the CNJ USRA, EJE USRA, Great Northern, Louisville and Nashville, PLNE, even though it says New York Central System on the tender, and Sioux Line. Now, I briefly considered trying to get maybe a Legacy Station or someone like that to do a Central Georgia one, because the Central Georgia had Mikados, but I'm not exactly sure if it was a light Mikado or a heavy Mikado. So I would like to make sure before I submit a request like that I get the right type of Mikado. So due to the fact that I'm not sure which type of Mikado the Central had, I'm going to wait. Plus, like I said, I've already got stuff in this catalog that I'd rather get for now. So Next time the mics are offered, I'll have to make sure that I submit a request in for one. Moving on to the 060s. So we have Atlantic Coastline, B&O, Chicago Northwestern, Grand Trunk, Nickel Plate, and Union Pacific. Once again, I won't be getting any of these, but it does have the swinging bell and 4-digit addressing. So it's nice to see that Lionel is bringing in features like the swinging bell and models they can't necessarily fit Whistle Steam into. Moving on to the sets, we have the New Haven Minuteman set. I've already heard some people in the Matt and Matt Discord say that they're going to get this set. So if you're looking into getting this set, that should be a pretty good set to get, as well as the N&W King Cole set. That's a interesting name. We have 12 3-bay hoppers unique to this set with a caboose there at the end with a Y6B leading the charge there. Moving on to the cars. So these are more cabin cars. These are not Vision, so these are just the standard cabin cars without the sound and things like that. If you're not looking to spend a whole lot of money, but are still looking for a caboose for the end of your train. Now, the one on the left is once again still a normal cabin car, but the ones on the right are Vision. So, and you can see the difference there between the prices. And these are the same as the cabin cars in the beginning with the GG ones, just in a different paint scheme. Moving on to some more freight, we have box cars and Pensy and more Pensy, as well as Penn Central and Seaboard. Moving on to some flat cars, I'm interested to see how this works out because Lionel's been doing a lot of these atomic cars in the last couple of catalogs. So if you manage to get that set at the big when they were first announced, you probably got a pretty decent train going right about now because you had not only this car but the other car on the next page. But we have more cars. We have Bethlehem Steel, Department of Defense, TTX, and Westinghouse, as well as on the other side, Maine Central, U.S. Army, and Alaska. Now the hot box reefers. I'd be interested to just see one of these in person. I don't necessarily want one for my collection, at least not right now anyway. But I have a bunch of Atlas reefers, and even though they're wood, I'd still like to maybe throw one of these, maybe the RDA one in there just to have some sound, extra sound in my set. I don't know. We have TOFC cars over here on the right with two being Army, Chicago Northwestern, Pacific Electric, and Alaska. And Alaska people are doing pretty good in this catalog. So we have some Ripside cars here in Milwaukee, Milwaukee, and Milwaukee. Milwaukee, Milwaukee, Milwaukee. So if you're a Milwaukee Road fan, you should have a pretty decent selection here in terms of cars. You could even if you were on this one page alone, you would have a pretty good sized train right off the bat. AC-2s, we have Atlantic Coastline, Delaware Lackawanna, Great Northern, McMillan Feed, Shippers Car Line, and Sioux Line. 4-bay covered hoppers, we have a bunch of graffiti options here for those of you who like to collect those. Denver, Rio Grande, and Cumberland. Once again, we have 3-bay hoppers here with the Alaska, B&O, CNO, and CSX. So for those of you who like your big old unit trains, this might be something for you to add on to. And a W and Pensy. So if you got the, or if you're going to get the King Cole set, here's even more cars for you to add on to. You could almost double the length of your train with if you were to get both A and B pack and the extra car, and we have also some extra coal loads for those of you who might have a coal car but don't have a load for it. All right, so we've gotten to the end of the scale portion of the catalog. So I'm going to go back to the beginning here, or rather, I'm going to highlight what I'm looking at to get out of this particular catalog. So, as I said earlier, I am a Georgia person. I lived in Georgia. I lived in Georgia my whole life. So I kind of can't afford not to get the Savannah Atlanta unit here. So that will be on the top of my list of orders to get, even if it's the only thing I get out of this catalog. Now I'm on the fence about these GG1s. This if I were to get it, it would be my first Vision Line item in my collection, but I'm trying to decide which one to get if I was to get one. I'm trying to decide which one will hurt my wallet the least. And right now that's looking like to be maybe one of these standalone ones. Maybe it doesn't matter which scheme. But I do like the 5 stripe, whether it's the either black or green one here or the maroon one we just saw. I do like this United States Savings Bonds one, as well as the set down here, which might be the one I have to go with. But I'm also thinking if I get one of the ones that says Pensy on it, I can get anything I want that's still technically Pennsylvania later on in my collecting career or life, and it would still be prototypical. So that might end up be what I do. But I do like these Amtrak options here because primarily I collect passenger, even though I'm still trying to get some more modern freight locomotives and modern freight cars to pull. I just can't say no to a good looking passenger train. So it might be that I get either this 4859 or 4877 here, and then get the rainbow set down here. Or as I do my research in prices around for pre-orders, I might get this set, or I might get this one because I do like the historical significance of this set. So we'll have to see which one I get if I get one at all. But like I said, the one thing I know I'm getting is Savannah Atlanta. But I want to know what y'all think. Let me know what y'all think in the comments below. What are you getting? What do you like? What do you not like? What do you think of the GG1s? Did you think it was going to be the Hudson? Um, what I'm thinking, maybe next year. Well, we might see the Hudson next year. This catalog was a little out of ordinary. What we've seen in the recent past is Lionel will do a new tooling, like we saw with the triplex last year, and now we have the GG1, which is something they've done in the past. Maybe Lionel will double up on stuff they've done in the past, since it will technically still be their 125th anniversary. They could still double up and give us both the GG1 and the 700E back to back. Would y'all like to see that, or would y'all still like to see a new tooling? Let me know what y'all think in the comments. So that's going to do it for today's video, guys. Make sure you like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think of the catalog. And make sure you look out for my base 3 video whenever it comes out. But that's going to do it, guys. See y'all later.